It is a real privilege to take a peek at one of the most beautiful places on Earth. The so-called Coral Triangle, a paradise overflowing with coral reefs and considered the area with the greatest marine biodiversity in the world. Like a heart for our planet, its mission is to pump oxygen continuously through the enormous fields of coral that grow in its depths. The currents transfer this oxygen to the oceans, generating life. This area provides a home and protection for more than 2,000 species of fish and animals of all kinds. 75% of all our planet's coral lives here. In this series, we have filmed over 300 hours of underwater images, 2 years of diving, having the chance to see up close the uniqueness of all its inhabitants and the beauty of its surroundings. Sadly, it is in serious danger of extinction. The Coral Triangle occupies an area of 6 million square kilometers. It covers 18,000 islands in an area where the seas of Southeast Asia and Oceania meet. The Maluku Islands. It is said that these islands changed the world, and for a reason other than their beauty. They call them the Spice Islands, and to find them, the world took to their ships. So let's unfurl the sails and set our route for Ambon Island. The 3 primary colors in the Maluku Islands are the key to its identity. They are blue, white, and green. The sea, the sand, and the vegetation. In the sea, the blue is intense. Several curtains of fish move around, quick and restless. The corals seem to be keeping an eye on the horizon, because in paradise, you never know when it might appear. Her. This is a black-banded sea crate, highly venomous. It's looking for food, and the reef knows it. The fish swim around in all directions, looking for shelter. The snake moves stealthily and can appear anywhere, anytime. These are 2 meters of sea snake, and its venom is 10 times more potent than a cobra's. It's an agile creature thanks to its paddle-shaped tail. And as it has just submerged, it has between 5 and 6 hours to find what it's looking for. After this time, it needs to return to the surface to breathe for a few seconds before trying again. This is why it never dives below 50 meters. and normally, it doesn't travel alone. It's not dangerous to humans, unless it is disturbed or feels trapped. Then, it won't hesitate to use its venom. A bite from the black-banded sea crate pierces neoprene easily. The venom stuns and paralyzes in a few minutes, causing death in the following hours. It's not very quick, so it hunts its prey in nooks and crannies in the rocks and corals. Moray eels are convenient victims, but any species may be a target. The alarm call seems to have spread quickly. You can see groups of several snakes hunting as a team to flush out the most skittish prey. If one of them has to surface to breathe, it returns in a few seconds. In some areas, the snake forms part of a basic food diet. Its flesh is said to have analeptic properties to stimulate the nervous system. Traditional Eastern medicine administers preparations to treat depression disorders. And just then, the snake spots the presence of the diver and goes to identify it. The world seems to stand still. Fortunately, neither diver nor other individuals are worthy of any more of its attention. Although the reef is still alert, it can now breathe easily. Bumping into an individual like this, although at rest, would put anyone on edge. The imminent danger seems to have passed. Despite situations like this, time on the reef passes unchanged, as though slipping gently through an hourglass. The hours, the minutes, slip by in a way that never changes, with the cycle of life in constant movement. The years also pass by for the inhabitants of the Coral Triangle that manage to escape from predators. Also for these midnight snapper. Recently, Australian researchers found a specimen of this species that was 81 years old, the longest living coral fish ever found. Something else that seems to stop time is this school of big-eye trevallies. They live and move always in a group. They hunt like this, using collaborative techniques and making the most of their agile movements. Curiously, the snakes we have seen sometimes form alliances with the trevallies to catch their prey. But here, right now, they form a perfect group, rocking gently in the current. You would never guess that each of these trevallies is half a meter long and weighs more than 10 kilos. They are gentle swimmers, moving in harmony. Are they the ones turning the hourglass now? Because when you watch them, time does seem to stand still. Wow! A pink-eared mantis shrimp has got its eyes on us. They can see us in 3 dimensions, thanks to these extraordinary eyes, located on stalks that move independently. They have rolled up interior sheets, forming tubes that synthesize the light, allowing them to absorb a much greater range of colors than humans, for example. They are commonly known as squilla mantis because of their resemblance to the praying mantis seen on land. We have seen other species of mantis on our earlier travels around the Coral Triangle, but this is the first pink-eared mantis we have seen in such detail. They are fearsome predators in their environment, but their diet is a very basic one. The white spearing mantis shrimp has an even broader visual spectrum. It can see perfectly clearly rays ranging from ultraviolet to infrared, where there is little light intensity, such as at night. The light filtering through here allows the rest of us to get clear sight of this garden of staghorn coral. Some snappers in a procession. A colony of fusiliers. And the ever-attractive pyramid butterfly fish. They look like the little pieces of glass in a kaleidoscope. Our gaze drifts off into the distance, with individuals that look like they are in infinity. This firmament is joined by the grey triggerfish, stirring up the seemingly boundless depths into thousands of different fish. some points, visibility is reduced. This is because of the particular dynamic of the seasons in the Maluku Islands. Whereas in the majority of the triangle, the rainy season is between October and April. In the Maluku Islands, it is the other way around, affecting the sea conditions. Storms make it almost impassable, and visibility is poor. The camera lens can show a much clearer image in these conditions than a diver's eye can perceive. Nevertheless, it is able to identify the presence of a zebra shark. And these marvelous creatures. A mother sperm whale with her young. The cold currents of the Pacific open up the way to large species in the northernmost part of the triangle. And also other individuals. This one looks like an Omurus whale. A cetacean discovered in 2003 by Japanese biologists. It is smaller and more highly evolved than the fin whale. Most of the Molucca Islands are young in geological terms. They are between 1 and 15 million years old, and they have never been attached to larger land masses. Unlike other areas of Indonesia, they have some of the country's smallest islands, and reefs spread around much deeper areas. Ambon Bay, for example, is 8 kilometers wide where it meets open sea, and drops down to a depth of 560 meters. Small, unspoilt beaches catch the eye, where the dense forest stretches as far as the shoreline. These waters were witness in the Second World War to the bloody Battle of Ambon, between the Japanese army and the Allied forces, made up basically of Australians and Dutch, in 1942. The Maluku were generally considered to be a geographically strategic point. They still are now, but from an environmental point of view, although recovering them has not been easy. After the war, with a shortage of raw materials, the local populations used coral to rebuild roads, thereby destroying the reefs closest to the coast. Later on, the shallow waters of the bay were dredged to allow deep draft ships to enter. Over time, the seabed has recovered. But to give us an idea of Ambon's richness, in 1863, the Dutch ichthyologist Peter Bleecker catalogued 783 species of fish in Ambon Bay alone. This is quite incredible if we bear in mind that the whole of Thailand, for example, has fewer than 700. Here we see some interesting and aesthetically pleasing pompanos, a species also known as Ray's bream. These are medium-sized, but they can measure up to 50 centimeters long. A little smaller are the batfish, but they are sufficiently large at 35 centimeters to be able to feed on small fish and crustaceans, also zooplankton, and they are very voracious. Although usually a solitary creature, when traveling long distances, they form large groups, like these, to give them safety in numbers in the face of possible enemies. A lovely shot of this shoal, numerous and diligent in its movements. They swim gently, moving their fins constantly and with minimum effort. Their vertical stripes are very distinctive. These stripes do not even exist when they are young. The change to adulthood is an absolute transformation. Because when they are young, they look like this. Black with orange trim and with extended veils that help them to move. No one would guess that this youngster could turn into a shiny silver fish with vertical stripes, one of which runs through its eyes. It might be a main character in Cinderella. It is tremendously elegant. It looks like a catwalk model in a fashion show, or showing off an impressive evening gown. This dark color, together with the orange perimeter line, has a purpose: to scare off any species that might attack it for food. It looks like a nudibranch, whose toxic flesh frightens off possible predators. In just a few weeks, it will lose its dress and will become a white swan. Sorry, a batfish. The sea is awash with beautiful things, with living creatures that multiply, with a multitude of corals and vegetation. But it also has a mysterious element, sometimes dark, with exotic and unusual creatures. No one knows quite why, but sometimes the same family can have individuals that are completely different in their condition. Octopus, for example. The coconut octopus is one of the most intelligent. It gets this name because it adopts any concave object, natural or artificial, as its home. Hence the name coconut. If it finds a half coconut on the seabed, it takes up residence. It keeps its head permanently erect and its gaze alert, safe in the knowledge that its back is covered by its stolen armor. Like all the members of its species, it modifies its appearance as required, adapting to its surroundings and the situation it finds itself in. It can also use 2 empty clamshells, which it carries with it as it moves around. If attacked, it can position one underneath and the other on top, like a shield, and use its legs to move with its protection on its back, or as a front door. Another quite different specimen is this blue-ringed octopus. It is highly venomous. It generates the most powerful venom in the world, and it has no antidote. Just a single dose is sufficient to kill 30 people. If bitten, a person can die in less than 2 hours. First, it causes a migraine and facial paralysis. This is followed by strong muscle contractions, and then respiratory paralysis that can result in death. Victims can only be saved by timely hospital treatment involving artificial respiration to counteract the paralysis. It is relatively small. Its body is 8 centimeters long, 15 if you include its legs. And when it is alert, the blue rings on its body are vividly active. As with other species, the females die of starvation after a 6-month gestation period. The common octopus is certainly less frightening, and it is a real escape artist. The authentic Houdini of the sea. When it senses danger, it can swim off propelled by a jet of water. It can run, bowling along the seabed. And it can swim and leap great distances. And undoubtedly the most spectacular feat, camouflage itself admirably with its surroundings, or with whatever suits it. And if anyone manages to catch it, it can cast off a tentacle at will, as though we were able to rip off an arm. The difference being that the octopus's tentacle grows back. The banded drop-arm octopus can also do this, but it takes a little longer.
Opened my eyes, I was feeling so empty inside.
If we keep our eyes peeled, we will be able to appreciate this beautiful Ambon bubble-tip anemone and its inhabitants, the clownfish. These are dark ones, the less common variety, and the common clownfish, which are the ones the general public recognizes. We can also see pink anemone fish. And a colony like this one, hiding in the crack of a lunar landscape.
Taking my time, letting this river gush and be wild.
Clownfish form part of the iconography of coral reefs. Immortalized in children's films, this species has become a symbol of the survival of coral fish in general, for the benefit of the rest.
New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want to do.
They're lovely to look at, that much is clear. Seeing them swimming through the anemone's tentacles is really a very pleasant sensation.
New York looks different.
Gentleness, well-being, comfort are some of the terms that might define the feelings arising from spending a few minutes watching the way they are rocked, at least at first sight, in the fluffy anemones.
So moving.
They're always found near their own particular anemone. Only very infrequently do they move away. This is eternal communion of symbiotic survival.
I find that all that I want to do is close my eyes, breathe and try to feel close to you.
The clownfish fans the anemone with its fins. This movement cleans the tentacles, providing the fish with food. And at the same time, the anemone is kept spotlessly clean. Another animal that does the same thing is the porcelain crab. It lives in the anemone in complete harmony with the clownfish. Obviously, it gets its name from its appearance. There are two species, with pink or purple spots, or with larger red and gold spots. It measures between 1.5 and 3 centimeters. It uses the hairs on its front legs around its mouth as a broom to catch floating organisms that it feeds on. Its large pincers frighten off more than one possible predator. Normally, it uses them as a defensive weapon, but occasionally, they can be an aid in eating. And this one here is a very unusual crab, the zebra crab, which lives permanently in this type of sea urchin. This species has a spiny shell to protect it from attacks. It measures just 2 centimeters and sometimes lives in these urchins with its partner. The designs all over its shell and legs allow it to go unnoticed. It is almost perfect camouflage. It needs it because, apart from its tough spines, its defenses are quite limited. These bluefin trevallies march in formation, crossing paths with damselfish, peacock bass, and other reef fish. Unaware that this island was given the name of the Beautiful by those who managed to cross the oceans to arrive here in ships centuries ago. The Maluku Islands changed the world because Christopher Columbus set sail from Spain in search of the spices that grew here. Thanks to this, a new world was discovered. The Portuguese navigator Vasco da Gama, also looking for this place, discovered the Cape of Good Hope and reached India. Neither of them got to see this paradise, where cloves, for example, grow wild and free. Not to mention other unknown spices that became all the rage amongst Europeans. Juan Sebastian Elcano passed through here on the circumnavigation of the globe, begun by Magallanes in search of the Maluku Islands, and years later the Portuguese arrived, followed by the Dutch, the British, and later the Japanese. When they saw these beaches, they knew they had reached the Beautiful. What they couldn't enjoy like we do today were the sea depths, an authentic garden of soft corals. Sea fans with a great range of colors, growing strong and vigorous. Keeping your eyes wide open is a good tip if you don't want to miss any detail of this multicolored nursery.
Open your eyes and see the lights in your window. Little smile, just a while. Don't forget.
Also eye-catching because of their imposing presence are these impressive giant barrel sponges.
Shine, shine, shine brightly.
While the light filters weakly behind this mound of soft coral, the anchovies filled the reef amphitheater. All of them are scurrying to find the best place to watch the next marvel offered by Ambon Island. You have to take your seats quickly. A new star is about to appear on the stage. There it is. You might just have to adjust your eyes a little because it's camouflaged. Can you see it? It's a giant toadfish, motionless. It moved. It looked like part of the coral. Now it backs off a little, watching what's going on. Toadfish have an interesting feeding system. They eat fish and crustaceans, and they catch them by attacking extremely quickly and using the element of surprise. They absorb their prey by increasing the size of their mouth up to 12 times more than its size at rest, and by attacking in a flash, 6 milliseconds. This action, which we have seen slowed down, allows it to absorb prey double its size. It is one of the most voracious and surprising predators in the animal kingdom. Toadfish have a great capacity for camouflage and color change. Here we can see other examples. They are not rocks, but we only know this because they move from time to time. Otherwise, it will be impossible to make them out. We are now contemplating a juvenile hairy toadfish. The filaments we see around it are its own. It might seem like we're looking at branching corals, but no. And here we see it in its adult phase. Like all toadfish, the hairy toadfish moves around very little. They're not great swimmers. Its appearance is a response to the need to be unattractive to other larger species. But how do they manage to feed if they barely move? They have a decoy at the end of their dorsal spine, which they use like a fishing rod. When they detect possible prey, they move it the way we see now to attract its attention. As soon as it enters its radius of action, it is sucked in. Once inside, the toadfish closes its esophagus with a muscle that prevents it from getting out. Fish like this remind you that the sea can also have its unsettling moments. Dangers are always present, reminding us that we need to be constantly alert. But if we are careful, we will be richly rewarded. Nothing should prevent us from enjoying the extraordinary undersea world within our reach. These natural spaces that are so perfectly arranged and with such sublime colors. Once again, nature builds in a meaningful way, supplies in a calculated manner, and develops with generosity. Any imbalances are produced by external factors, basically human. Let's educate. Let's be the guardians of this sublime work and make sure that nobody destroys it. Like the alligator gar does, permanently scrutinizing the seabed. Although the name might suggest a bigger animal, This species is between 35 and 50 centimeters long. They live on the sandy seabed and even look for reef debris to camouflage their presence. Their eyes are semi-covered by what are known as iris flaps, a kind of mesh that keeps their enormous pupils camouflaged for any possible prey. Another example of how surprising the coral triangle can be. Ambon Island has given us the chance to see some of its most exclusive inhabitants. From coconut octopus and common octopus to pyramid butterfly fish, batfish, adults and young, although this might seem unlikely. Ray's bream cruising around unhurried. The same unhurried way time passes on the reef. The Maluku Islands were known as the Spice Islands, although now they could be the Species Islands because of so many species that live here. Some of them unsettling. Curious. And also dangerous. Very dangerous. There are also welcoming ones. And prehistoric species. Ambon Island was known as the Beautiful to sailors. And they were right.